Right now at 5, authorities investigate a stabbing at a Joplin apartment.
We've managed to dodge the bullet on severe weather so far, but our chances are still there. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And cyclists hit the road for an 8-day journey across the Sunflower State.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we were expecting the possibility of that complex out west to actually survive here into the 4 states. The good news is it didn't. I say that's good news. I know we need the rain, but the level of severe weather that came out of this system and is continuing to come out of it, we did not need. Lawton, Oklahoma, for example, pounded with large hail. We're talking 3-inch in diameter size hail. Slightly greater. I was watching KWTV in Oklahoma City, their coverage last night, and one of their storm trackers lost most of their windshield in this hail. There was significant hail and strong winds with this activity. Let's take a look at the at me clearing my throat, and then at the Skywatch storm tracker, and we can see we do have some light showers. Now, what you're seeing over the Joplin area does not seem to actually be reaching the ground because it just passed over the KOAM studios and it wasn't really reaching the ground, and it's not appearing on our camera at 7th and Range Line. However, we're getting additional development of thunderstorms off to the northwest, and those will be what bring us a chance for some strong, possibly low-grade severe thunderstorms later. So we're going to back this up and take a look back. Look at this massive complex, and the severe portion in Kansas died out, but the worst of this surged off to the southeast, and boy, it is still continuing to bring significant severe weather off to the deep south now. So for today, tornado risk, very low. No area specifically highlighted. We have a low wind risk for some small hail and maybe some gusty winds across pretty much the entire area as we head through the morning and afternoon and early evening hours. As we head into our Saturday, still have this elevated risk of severe thunderstorms across a good portion of the area. It's been scaled back a bit since yesterday, which is good news because I know we need the rain. We just don't need the severe weather to go with it, but we still have this elevated risk. And then as we head into Sunday, we have this low wind risk, but this is really going to be for remnant thunderstorm activity from the overnight activity Saturday. So for Saturday, this activity expected late in the evening. So let's go through today. Here we have some of these scattered thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon today and through the morning. And again, some of these could be strong, low-grade severe, but they're also kind of pop-up in nature, so they'll eventually die out as we lose the heating of the day. We go into our Saturday, and initially our Saturday is great. And then look at 6 o'clock. Nothing impressive yet, but a couple of cells just northwest of Chanute. And by 8, we start to see more widespread activity. And by 10, we have got this massive complex of thunderstorms rolling through the area. And here we go to 1:30 in the morning on Sunday. This is going to, again, start rolling through probably about 9 o'clock and sweep through the area. And this is where our best window of strong to severe thunderstorms will be. We'll have another full look at your forecast and how the rest of the weekend is shaping up here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Joplin police arrest a suspect in a stabbing at an apartment yesterday morning. It happened at the North Park Apartments on East Newman Road around 8:40. When officers arrived, they found a man with a stab wound. That man was taken to the hospital and is said to be in serious but stable condition. Police say he was stabbed by his fiancée following an argument. She has been arrested, but formal charges have not yet been filed. Authorities say 54-year-old Wayne Edwins Simmons of El Dorado Springs was shot and killed after he shot at members of the Barton and Cedar County departments. Simmons was the suspect in an armed carjacking that occurred in rural Barton. Authorities responded to a home in rural Dade County about the stolen vehicle. It was found in a barn on the property. When law enforcement searched the barn, they say Simmons was inside and gunfire exchanged. Simmons was shot and later died at the scene. No officers were injured. The U.S. Supreme Court preserved the system that gives preference to Native American families in foster care and adoption proceedings of Native children. It rejects a broad attack from some Republican-led states and white families who argued it's based on race. The court left in place the 1978 Indian Child Welfare Act, which was enacted to address concerns that Native children were being separated from their families and too frequently placed in non-Native homes. Well, cyclists hit the road as part of an 8-day journey across the Sunflower State. Biking across Kansas brings out hundreds of people to explore beautiful landscapes, points of interest, and meet people in different towns. Yesterday, they arrived in Chanute with only 2 days left in their trip. To some, the journey is more about heart than mind.
I'm watching traffic. It's not really a lot of thinking. It's just, you're just out there doing that. And then maybe later in the ride, if I'm really tired, I'm thinking about how I want to get off the bike. But it's not so much a lot of thinking. It's just a lot of, I guess, feeling.
Today, they will go to Garnett, and then on Saturday, they'll end their journey by going through Pleasanton to reach the Missouri border. The Allen County Multi-Agency Team put on its 10th annual Family Safety Night in Iola, Kansas. Family Safety Night is an event to help support youth families, teachers in the community by providing more than 25 booths to teach them public safety, how to call 911, and other tips on what to do in an emergency.
It's the togetherness that we like to really bring to our community, just giving us a way to celebrate and be healthy in our community.
They also partnered with the Allen County Farmers Market to promote healthy eating. Well, June is National Cytomegalovirus or CMV Awareness Month. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 3 children are infected with CMV by age 5. The virus can cause hearing loss, vision loss, and lack of motor skills. This happens to be the case for a child in Miami, Oklahoma. The mother is putting on an event this weekend for her daughter, who was born with CMV.
They're just like you. They comprehend just like you. They might not be able to speak or communicate with you, but they do in their own way.
The event is open to anyone. It'll be Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club in Miami. We'll have more later in our show. Tuesday's City Hall meeting in Carthage, Missouri was disappointing for some public works workers. Carthage Water and Electric Plant submitted its budget to include a pay raise for the workers, but the City Council recommended holding off on the budget. City Council noticed they received Carthage Water and Electric Plant's 2023 budget instead of 2024's budget. City officials say this was a simple miscommunication.
The Budget Committee received a version of that information, although it was 2023 information. So not exactly what they needed, but and they made a decision based on the information they had.
The second reading of the budget and final vote is scheduled for June 27th. We'll have more on this later in our show as well. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Webb City High School's football field gets a whole new name, all in honor of one man. Plus, we talk about right to repair laws. And we ask, do you think people should be able to repair the things they own? And we meet a little girl in Miami, Oklahoma to learn more about a virus known as CMV we just told you about, all in honor of CMV month. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Webb City High School's football field is officially known as John Roderick Field at Cardinal Stadium after being unanimously voted on by the school board. This comes after Roderick announced his retirement in December after leading the Cardinal football program for the previous 26 seasons. Roderick posted a win-loss record of 315-35, most recently leading Webb City to a 13th state championship in 2021. He has the most state titles of any Missouri high school football coach, with 4 more than the next closest. He also was an all-state linebacker at Webb City High School in 1985. Well, Pittsburgh State football still a couple of months away from kicking off its 2023 campaign, but remaining busy in the offseason. Yesterday, the Gorillas hosted an individual camp for all positions with a slew of local players in attendance. The camp takes place in the Gorillas indoor facility, and things are led by PSU head football coach Brian Wright. He says opportunities like these don't come along very often, so players that participate in the camp are getting a worthwhile experience.
Yeah, I think it's a great experience for all those involved. It certainly is for us on the coaching side. it is for these young guys out here having an opportunity to get coached by all the coaches at Pittsburgh State University. It's an opportunity for the parents to get out here and really watch their sons in a competitive environment at a great place like Pitt State.
Well, if you've watched Missouri Southern softball the past few years, you've likely noticed the play of Josie Topai. She was an on and off the field leader for the Lions, and as of yesterday, Topai is an assistant coach on MSSU softball staff. And head coach Hallie Blackney says bringing her on the staff was a no-brainer.
Not often would I feel comfortable doing this, but Josie is very mature. It would take a very unique and specific individual for me to be okay with, having her coach within the same program that she played in. Coach Blackney, she's been with me for 5 years at MSSU. We came in together. I played under her for 5 years. She really shaped me into being the leader that I was for the team, and as well as, inspiring me to continue that career in softball coaching.
Both Mink League baseball teams from the 4 states were in action last night. For the first time in a week and a half, the Joplin Outlaws play a home game. Last night, they battled the Chillicothe Mudcats. Outlaws taking on the Chillicothe Mudcats at Joe Becker Stadium. Pitchers duel early on. Joplin starter Steele Lane gets the strikeout in the second inning of a scoreless game. Chillicothe starting pitcher Carter Muck does the same in the bottom half of the inning. Game stayed a scoreless tie until the third inning. That's when a base hit there with a man on. Both those base runners would score after a couple bases loaded walk. 2-0 Mudcats, top 4 and more trouble. First with the bases loaded again, an RBI fielder's choice with 1 out, then a delayed double steal. That works to perfection. Ball gets away. Outlaws fall to Chillicothe 7-1. Meanwhile, across the state, Nevada Griffins cap off a 3-game stint with the Jeff City Renegades. Mink League Player of the Week Luke Matshiner on the mound for Jeff City. Strikes out the very first batter he sees. Renegades threatening in the bottom of the first. We go to Aiden Bauman. It's good contact out to left field, but take a look at the diving catch by Sam Noski out of Northern Iowa Community College. Jeff City unable to get a run in the first, but would come back in the second. Cam Durnan drills one out to right center field, and that is going to bring home 2 runs for the Renegades. This was a close one all the way through. Score was 2-0 Jeff City in the 4th inning. Well, still to come, a mummy believed to be 3,000 years old is found in Peru. Plus, we've got another check of that potentially stormy forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:18 now on this finally Friday here in the 4 states. So here's what we want to keep an eye on. We've got this developing batch of thunderstorms just barely entering part of our viewing area. And the reason we want to keep an eye on, let me walk over here. I want to back this up about 1 hour ago and show you what it looked like an hour ago compared to now. So this is 1 hour ago. And here we go to right now. So it's not strong, it's not severe, but we are in that atmosphere where that activity has the potential to pick up some intensity. So we'll keep an eye on that. And here's what we're talking about. Today, tornado risk very low. That's great news. No areas highlighted. It's never zero, but when we don't have highlighted areas, it means it is extremely low. We do have a low end risk for some small hail and possibly some strong gusty winds. And as you can see, that encompasses most of the area, and that's for the majority of our day today. Our severe threat continues as we head into tomorrow. We've been talking about Saturday this is the 3rd day now. We've still got this elevated risk. Now, some good news is it's been scaled back a bit. We need the rain, just not the severe weather. But we still have this elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms possible. Stronger storms today, we mentioned hail, wind, primary threat, and that's the same with any severe weather we might see tomorrow. Hail and wind are the primary threats. Sunday, we have this low-end risk across our southern counties, but that's really going to be from any remnant activity still moving out as we head into Sunday morning from Saturday night. Let's take a look down the road. Future track showing where we're going to get some scattered thunderstorms across the area as we head into the morning and afternoon hours. And this is where some of these could be strong, low-grade severe. But as you saw in the future track, it also didn't show this storm that's developing in southeast Kansas. So we're going to have to keep an eye on anything that pops up. Saturday, we spend the majority of the day pretty nice and pretty darn warm as well. Highs mid to upper 80s. And then as we go into the evening, 8 o'clock, 7:30, we start to see scattered storms. And by 10, and we've got this big batch that's going to start to roll through the area overnight into Saturday night into Sunday morning. All right, 68 in Joplin right now. We got those cloudy skies out there and across the region. Quick look at temperatures. We got 67 Lamar, 66 Pittsburgh, 65 Parsons, 68 Miami, and sitting at 69 Neosho. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day. There we go. Looking at highs today right around the mid-80s, near 90 tomorrow. 83 Father's Day. We'll have those strong storms Sunday morning. They'll clear out. And then as we head toward the first official day of summer, temperatures start to warm up and we go into the lower 90s under partly cloudy skies. Well, you ever cracked your new cell phone? It kind of sucks, doesn't it? Well, no problem. Just fix it yourself. See, Minnesota is among the states passing the right to repair law to let you repair your own broken electronics. Mills Hayes is in Minneapolis to talk about how this works.
The law's purpose is to make smartphones and other electronics easier to fix so that you can save money on repairs and avoid buying replacements. At Repowered Recycling Company, you can find a 1970s stereo, a 1980s Mac computer, and a Nintendo game console from the 90s.
We recycle 3 million pounds every single year, and about 10% of that gets reused and put back onto the market.
Technician Tara Daly repairs old electronics to resell.
I do iPads, I do iPhones, iMacs.
She says trying to get parts from manufacturers is difficult.
They try their best to monopolize the market, make sure that parts are hard to come by or stupid expensive so that they're getting some gain from that.
Repowered's testing manager says electronics used to last longer.
The companies, they see value in making things that can't be repaired, and the consumers are forced to, get rid of it and go buy the newest model.
But Minnesota's new right to repair bill requires manufacturers to let independent repair shops and consumers buy the parts and tools necessary to fix their own devices. Right to repair bills have passed in Connecticut, New York, Colorado, and Minnesota. Over 29 states have introduced similar legislation this year.
It will give companies here a competitive advantage because they'll be able to fix more things.
Vibrant Technologies sells new and used hardware.
So the manufacturers are going to be forced to have to give us what we should have to fix our products. They've already been very adversarial with it, and that's why I do believe this needs to be a federal fix.
A Harvard Business Review article shows the potential downsides of the legislation. It suggests that some manufacturing companies may make some items cheaper to incentivize consumers to buy the newer products. Other companies may raise prices altogether. And that brings us to our question for you, and this is a good one this morning. Do you think people should be allowed to repair the things they own? I don't know about you, but I remember a time, and I'm not even that old, where you could repair your own electronics. Well, may want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Clinic and Eyeglass Store.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new report finds youth and young adults are dying from suicide and homicide at the highest rates in decades. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is behind the report. The analysis found in 2021 suicide and homicide were the second and third leading causes of death for children and young adults ages 10 to 24 in the U.S. Now, the homicide rate for this age group was also the highest since 1997, while the suicide rate was the highest on record since 1968. June is CMV Awareness Month, and a mother in Miami, Oklahoma is putting on an event to help raise that awareness. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Mackenzie Johnson is a 22-year-old mom in Miami, Oklahoma.
It's definitely different. But I don't think it's that much different, honestly. We just go to We have therapy appointments and a lot more doctor's appointments than usual.
What is so special about her baby girl? Well, little Janiyah was born with cytomegalovirus, or CMV, a disease that affects her hearing, sight, and motor functions. However, for this precious baby girl, CMV doesn't get in the way of her happiness. Little Janiyah is all smiles.
I feel like God has blessed me with something so wonderful, like that she gets to experience life just like us.
Mackenzie spends her days at home tending to Janiyah and making sure that her baby is able to do her favorite thing in the world as often as possible, spending time outside.
I have gotten a lot of support from family, more than I had thought I would have, and I appreciate it all, especially my mom. She's been there through it all.
Though baby Janiyah may have been dealt a rough hand, her mother wants people to know that her baby is just as special as anyone else's.
They're just like you. They comprehend just like you. They might not be able to speak or communicate with you, but they do in their own way.
So for Mackenzie, little baby Janiyah is a big ray of sunshine. Reporting in Miami, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The event is open to anyone. It'll be Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club in Miami. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Oh, we managed to dodge the bullet on overnight severe thunderstorms, but we still have that possibility of some strong storms today and severe storms tomorrow. We'll take a look at that forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the Carthage Water and Electric Plant looks to raise the wages for its workers.
And we've got the possibility of some strong storms today and maybe some severe storms as we head into our Saturday. We'll look at that forecast coming up.
And yesterday, vendors and artists gathered to celebrate Third Thursday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:32. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a finally Friday in the 4 states, and I'm telling you, I know we need rain. I want folks at home really to understand this because I'll occasionally get messages of people thinking, I don't think we need rain. Really, I know we need the rain. We don't need the severe weather, and we really dodged a bullet with severe storms overnight that were out in Kansas and Oklahoma. They really got pummeled. So we should be somewhat thankful that that complex didn't survive to here, but that doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods yet. Let's take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker, and you can see we've got a developing little cluster of thunderstorms off in our northwestern counties. It's not really moving much, but it is starting to pick up some steam. It's not strong, it's not severe, but we're getting a few more lightning strikes out of it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what that does as the morning progresses, because today we do have that chance for some stronger storms. Now, tornado risk, no areas highlighted, so that means that that risk, while not zero, is very low. We have the possibility for some small hail and maybe some gusty winds, and as you can see, that's across the entire area, and it's not just here. Not just today, I apologize. It's not just today. Tomorrow, we've been talking about Saturday for 3 days now. Still have an elevated risk. Some good news, it's been scaled back a little bit, but there's still a good portion of the area with that elevated risk for strong to severe storms late tomorrow. And then the low risk Sunday is really associated with any possible brief redevelopment in the morning hours on Sunday behind Saturday's storms. So today, we've got that possibility of scattered thunderstorms, and if we see these storms, some of these could be strong, possibly low-grade severe, but once we lose the daytime heating, those will start to die out, and we'll spend the majority of our Saturday dry and hot as we have highs pushing right around 90, and then we go to about 8 o'clock or so, and we're going to start to see some scattered storms to our north, and then that all gets together in this larger complex. Here we are at 10 o'clock. Here we are 12:30 Sunday morning, and we've got this massive complex of showers and thunderstorms rolling through, and this is where our window of strong to severe thunderstorms will be. Now, the good news is, for Saturday, the tornado risk is very low again, but we do have that large hail and strong damaging wind gust risk. So we'll take a look at your full forecast and, of course, keep an eye on today's storms for you here in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Chris. It's the third Thursday of the month, which means downtown Joplin was full of vendors and artists. And this month's sponsor was You Belong Here, a local equity, diversity, and inclusion organization. As always, it featured booths from dozens of area businesses and organizations, as well as fun activities.
We work with the Chamber of Commerce, and we are really just trying to get everybody to realize that everybody belongs in Joplin. And so we work with, equality, diversity, and inclusion, and just really, as if you're breathing, you belong here.
Third Thursdays happen every month through October. Pittsburgh's week-long Festival of the Arts continues with a one-day summer youth band camp. It's for all area high school musicians and directed by the Pitt State Music faculty and organized by PSU band director Andrew Chybowski. The band camp included rehearsals, master classes, and a lot of fun.
At Bicknell Family Center for the Arts, and we'll be performing some music that's some of it's very challenging for them. Some of it is pretty achievable, but also, like I said, we're going to be doing a cool little improvisation element at the concert as well.
Pittsburgh's Festival of the Arts continues through Sunday. Well, Nature Camp is a yearly 5-day camp running through Friday for children 1st through 3rd grade. During Nature Camp, the campers get to learn about different aspects of nature with a new theme each day. And yesterday they focused on mammals and dug up bones like archaeologists would.
That we go outside and go on what? Sometimes I even can see some cute animals.
Oh really? What animals do you see?
Like on the Stays Walk, we saw a bunny.
A bunny. Nature Camp happens every year for 1st through 3rd graders. Well, today is the last day of Camp Quality in Neosho. The week-long event receives kids with cancer for fun activities during the summer. A pool, crafts, and even laser tag were included in the program this year at no cost to the children and their families. The overnight camp even has 24-hour medical care, and this year 15 kids ages 4 to 17 participated. Besides being able to disconnect from the outside world at Camp Quality, campers feel like they belong.
We make sure that they're able to do every activity here, and we just want them to feel like kids. Like sometimes, when a child's diagnosed with cancer, that is ripped away from them at a very early age, and we just want to give that back to them for a week.
Neosho is not the only city hosting a camp for kids with cancer this summer. Around the United States, more than 15 Camp Qualities are taking part. To learn how you can support them, go to KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Carthage is reviewing budgets and trying to see if it's possible for the public workers to receive a pay raise. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to Carthage Water and Electric Plant about its efforts for a pay raise.
The last City Hall meeting in Carthage was disappointing for some public workers. Carthage Water and Electric Plant submitted its budget for the year, including a pay raise. However, the City Council decided to hold off on the pay raises for the city-owned utility plant.
A Monday night effort was to freeze all compensation of all employees. I think during record inflation that our country is faced with right now, freezing compensation to last year's levels would be a mistake.
There was never any intention to remove pay or reduce pay or reduce any staffing at Water and Electric. That was never the intention.
City officials say they held off on the pay raises because they had the previous year's budget. They need to review the plant's 2024's budget.
The Budget Committee received a version of that information, although it was 2023 information. So not exactly what they needed, but and they made a decision based on the information they had.
The workers of the plant says there's no animosity or contention between them and the city. They believe the mayor is working in their best interest. After all, Carthage Water and Electric Plant stands out from other plants in the country.
Over a period of about 9 years, Carthage Water and Electric received the Diamond Level Award, which is our nation's highest award. Only about 1% of those 2,000 utilities across the country achieve that level award from our national association. And it takes into account workforce development, system management, system availability, and reliability indexes. And those are items that we look at, and financial management.
A great utility. Carthage is lucky to have them.
Reporting in Carthage, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The second reading of the budget and final vote is scheduled for June 27th. Well, this morning we're discussing the right to repair.
Minnesota is one of the states passing right to repair laws. The law's purpose is to make smartphones and other electronics easier to fix so that you can save money on repairs and avoid buying replacements. At Repowered Recycling Company, you can find a 1970s stereo, an 80s Mac computer, and even a Nintendo game console from the 90s. These are things I'd just buy.
Well, technician Tara Daly repairs old electronics to resell. She says trying to get parts from manufacturers is difficult. Repowered's testing manager says electronics used to last longer.
That is a fact. The new law aims not only to let consumers buy parts, but independent repair shops as well. Similar laws have been passed in New York, Colorado, and Connecticut, and Oklahoma and Missouri, considering similar laws for this year as well. And that brings us to our question for you. Do you think people should have the right to repair the things they own?
I know there's a lot of things that if you attempt to repair it, then it voids the warranty.
I don't care about the warranty.
Well, I mean, say you can't repair it, then you can't send it off.
That's true, but I'm going to tell you, in all my years of owning electronics, I have never once used the warranty off an electronic device, but that's just me. And so far, 100% of you agree with me that you should have the right to repair your own stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But to repair it, you need to have access to the parts to be able to do it.
That's true. Well, and the other part of it, too, is like our middle child, he has this tablet, and it broke. I could probably fix it, but you can't take it apart.
Yep.
I've got to take it and I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Anyway, that's it. Make sure you vote through our website, our app, and take part in this. I'm very passionate about this.
There you go. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, a man shooting ends up saving a woman's life.
Plus, 2 Americans are found dead in a resort town hotel room. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM. Topping World Watch, 2 American tourists on vacation were found dead in their hotel room in Mexico Tuesday. They've been identified as 28-year-old Abby Lutz and her 41-year-old boyfriend, John Heathcote. According to Lutz's stepsister, the couple believed they had gotten food poisoning during their stay in Baja California. Abby Lutz reportedly went to a local hospital to get an IV and returned to her hotel feeling well. But the couple was later found dead in their resort hotel in the resort town of El Pescadero. There was no sign of violence or foul play connected to their deaths. However, an autopsy did indicate that both died from poisoning. Overseas, a 30-year-old American man is under arrest after allegedly assaulting and pushing 2 American women into a ravine near a world-famous castle in South Germany. One of the 2 female victims has died. Imtiaz Tiab has more.
It's one of Germany's most picturesque tourist destinations, the Neuschwanstein Castle, the inspiration behind Disney's fairy tale castle, but was the scene of a brutal attack. German police say 2 American women, just 21 and 22 years old, were visiting the site like so many others, but were allegedly lured by a stranger to a nearby hiking trail and lookout point, where investigators say this 30-year-old American man attacked them. The younger of the 2 was reportedly sexually assaulted before they were both pushed into a deep ravine, falling 165 feet. This is the moment a helicopter crew rescued one of the women. The younger of the 2 died overnight in hospital. Eric Abneri from New York was visiting the castle when he filmed the rescue and arrest.
His face was covered in deep red scratch marks and his neck as well. There was clearly a struggle there. And he just had a frown on his face. He didn't say anything. He had a sort of disturbed look.
German police are appealing for any witnesses to come forward. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, London.
Police in New Zealand have seized a record amount of methamphetamine, which was hidden in maple syrup containers. Officials say the drug bust involved more than 700 kilograms of meth worth more than $150 million. The seizure was made in January as part of an operation that also involved police from Australia and Canada where the drug came from. Officials say 6 people have been arrested and they are yet to make their court appearance. A pre-Hispanic discovery in Peru. Archaeologists outside Lima found a mummy who they say is around 3,000 years old. Experts say the mummy was buried under a ritual that included cocoa leaves and seashells. The remains found atop a destroyed U-shaped clay temple used in some pre-Hispanic buildings. Area which was covered in tons of garbage and took months to clear. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM. So here's what we are looking at. We're starting to get a few scattered showers in southeast Kansas. We also have this little thunderstorm complex up here. It's not intensifying, it's not strong or severe, but we are at that stage today where we have the potential for some strong, maybe low-grade severe thunderstorms as we go through the morning, afternoon, and early evening hours. So let's take a look down at what we've got. Very low tornado risk. We don't have any highlighted areas. That's great news. So the tornado threat, of course, never truly zero, but when there's no highlighted areas, it means that that risk is very low. We're looking at the possibility of some small hail and gusty winds as we go through today. And then as we head into tomorrow, we've got that elevated severe risk. Still, it's scaled back a bit, but still for a good portion of the area. And this will be late tomorrow night. And this is where we've got the possibility of some severe storms. Again, a low tornado threat. The bigger threat tomorrow is going to be strong damaging winds and large hail. And then Sunday's low risk is for any possible little redevelopment early Sunday morning as this complex from Saturday night moves on out of here. So let's go through the day, shall we? We go through today. We'll have those scattered showers, thunderstorms across the area, and they'll be scattered, but the ones we see will be an environment favorable for them to be strong, possibly low-grade severe across the area. And then as we look into Saturday, we spend the majority of our Saturday dry. And then as we head into the evening, we go about 8 o'clock, start to see scattered storms, and then we'll see this complex, here we are at 10, start to roll through the area. Here we are at 1 a.m. Sunday. This is where our window for strong to severe thunderstorms will be. Right now in Joplin, we've got those cloudy skies out there, 68. Dew point, humidity, both up there a bit, so pinch muggy. Across the region, we got 65 Nevada, 67 in Pittsburgh, Miami, 66 Chatopa, and 69 Carthage, Neosho. We get our morning started. Again, we'll have these isolated thunderstorms going into the upper 70s by late morning. Highs today, mid to upper 80s in some cases. Scattered thunderstorms. Again, some could be strong, possibly low-grade severe. Later this evening, we start to clear out, and we'll go mostly clear overnight and back into the mid-60s. 90 tomorrow, then we'll get those thunderstorms, and they'll carry on into the first part of our Father's Day, but the rest of Father's Day looking great, low 80s. Then we heat up as we head into next week. Partly cloudy skies, warming into the low 90s. First day of summer, 92. Let's check your forecast. We'll be right back after this, but first, we got a live look at John's Sports Store in Pittsburgh, Kansas, in honor of the upcoming Father's Day.
Well, a man who was out hiking in Oregon and shooting video for his YouTube channel winds up saving a woman's life. Riel Creighton has the story, including video from the rescue.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I got her by the foot.
Taylor Root ran to help after hearing a commotion on the trail near the top of Multnomah Falls Wednesday afternoon.
I can't pull up. Come on, it's going to be okay. We're going to get you.
He found a woman dangling off the side of the trail and her daughter struggling to hang on to her.
Right away, I kind of jumped over her and I saw the other lady laying on her back. Head was downhill, like going as if you sat on the trail and just tipped yourself back. Feet were up in the air.
He says the woman was dangling off a steep cliff.
Mom? Oh, crap.
I'm pulling you up. I'm sorry. I'm pulling you up. You got to hold on both. Try to hold on both feet.
I can't. I only have one arm.
Okay.
With only one arm, the daughter wasn't able to pull her mom to safety, but with Taylor's help, they finally got a firm grip.
We just kind of worked together and figured it out as quickly as possible, and we were able to hoist her up. And so I kind of just grabbed her arm and lifted her up on top of me.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. Taylor says he got to her just in time because the woman was starting to lose hope.
So it was sad because I remember her so vividly saying, "Just let me go." And I remember thinking like, wow, she's ready to die here.
Once she was safely back on the trail, her daughter gave her a grateful hug.
Oh, wow. He was definitely in the right place at the right time. Now, Ruth says everyone's hearts were beating pretty quickly. The mom and daughters seem to be okay. We'll be right back. Nora the polar bear seen smashing and munching on a watermelon at the Oregon Zoo recently. That's fun. Zoo said polar bears are opportunistic omnivores and will forage for vegetation and berries even though they eat mainly meat. The zoo also added that Nora and her sister Amelia Gray enjoy lettuce in addition to the occasional treat of fresh watermelon. Who doesn't?
I know I certainly love some watermelon, and with the warmer weather coming up as we dive into summer, it's going to be good for you to have. We do have scattered thunderstorms as we go through the morning and into the afternoon, early evening hours. Some of these could be strong, maybe low-grade severe, so we'll keep an eye on them for you. We're otherwise reaching near 80 by late morning. Highs today right around the mid-80s. Those scattered thunderstorms will continue again through the early evening hours, and then once we reach about 7, 8 o'clock, they'll start to die out. We'll go mostly clear overnight, mild, mid-60s. We'll have a nice hot day tomorrow, 90 degrees, and then by about 8 o'clock, we're going to start to see showers, thunderstorms moving in. These could be strong to severe, lasting into early Sunday morning. We'll have more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Stabbing in a Joplin apartment on Thursday and arrest a suspect.
We dodged the bullet on severe storms overnight, but we still have some strong storms possible today and our severe threat tomorrow. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
It continues as PSU hosts a nature camp full of fun and excitement for kids.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock now on this finally Friday in the 4 states. So again, I know we absolutely need rain in the area, but we are pretty fortunate we did not have to deal with the severe weather that ended up happening out to our west, and it's continuing now into the deep south. A few tornado reports, very large hail, damaging winds out there. I know Lawton, Oklahoma got hit particularly hard, not with just with the damaging winds. They also apparently experienced potentially a weak tornado, and we're talking hail 3 inches in diameter down there, so they're cleaning up today. Here's what we've got on the Skywatch Storm Tracker right now. Starting to see an increase in showers across the area. We had this little storm complex, but as you can see here lately, not picking up any lightning with that activity. No stronger severe storms as of yet, but that could change as the morning goes on. We do have that risk for some stronger storms today. Tornado risk, no highlighted areas, so that means it's very low. We've got a low end risk for some small hail and potentially some strong wind gusts out there with our scattered storms we're expecting today. And then Saturday. We still have this elevated risk, scaled back a little bit, but for our area, still a good portion of us looking at the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms late tomorrow. And these could produce strong damaging wind gusts and large hail. But I guess the good news here is the tornado risk for tomorrow at this point still quite low. So that's some great news. That low wind risk Sunday is a remnant of whatever we may see Saturday night into early Sunday morning. So let's take a quick look down the road. Today, scattered thunderstorms through the morning, afternoon, and early evening. As you can see, at least right now, they're expected to be fairly scattered, but any that we see could be strong, low-grade severe with some small hail and damaging wind. And I want to take a moment and show you Saturday. So Saturday, we spend the majority of the day dry and hot, highs near 90. And then we go about 8 o'clock, we start to see scattered storms. That turns into this batch of strong to severe thunderstorms. By 10, here we go, 11, 12, 1 a.m. Sunday. That's our best window for these strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll, of course, keep an eye on that for you. And we'll keep an eye on any activity that develops this morning and have more on your full forecast a little later. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Joplin police arrest a suspect in a stabbing incident at an apartment on Thursday. It happened at the North Park Apartments on East Newman Road around 8:40 a.m. When officers arrived, they found a man with a stab wound. That man was taken to the hospital and is said to be in serious but stable condition. Police say he was stabbed by his fiancée following an argument, and she has been arrested, but formal charges have not yet been filed. Authorities released the name of the man shot and killed in an exchange of gunfire with police on Wednesday. Authorities say 54-year-old Wayne Edwins Simmons of El Dorado Springs was shot and killed after he shot at members of the Barton and Cedar County departments. Simmons was the suspect in an armed carjacking that occurred in rural Barton County earlier on Wednesday. Authorities responded to a home on Wednesday in rural Dade County about the stolen vehicle. It was found in a barn on the property. When law enforcement searched the barn, they say Simmons was inside and gunfire exchanged. Simmons was shot and later died at the scene. No officers were injured. The U.S. Supreme Court preserved the system that gives preference to Native American families in foster care and adoption proceedings of Native children. On Thursday, SCOTUS rejected a broad attack from some Republican-led states and white families who argued it's based on race. The court left in place the 1978 Indian Child Welfare Act, which was enacted to address concerns that Native children were being separated from their families and too frequently placed in non-Native homes. When a family pet goes missing, it can be a traumatic experience. And a family in Halstead, Kansas says the same about one of their prized show animals. Cale Chapman has their story.
The Matwire family finished up a busy Memorial Day showing their pigs at the Cody Pankratz Memorial Swine Show when it was time to load up the trailer.
I remember as we were leaving looking in the trailer and all 4 pigs were just passed out cold. Nobody was moving, they were so tired.
On their way from Hillsboro to their home outside of Halstead, they stopped at this Dillon's and found that one of their pigs, Big Man, had gotten out.
Within a few seconds I hear, "Mom, Mom, our pig is out, we have a pig out." And the first thing that ran through my mind was, oh my goodness, we have a pig walking through the Dillon's parking lot.
That wasn't the case though.
The sliding gate was open. The other 3 pigs still passed out cold. They were still sleeping, and this pig was just gone.
They left the Dillons in Newton to retrace their steps back to Hillsboro, but came up empty-handed.
I'm hoping he's out in somebody's pasture. He found a nice cool pond and he's just living his best life.
The family describes Big Man as a 257-pound Duroc with floppy ears and a reddish-brown appearance. Big Man also has 2 ear tags. One is a white Harvey County 4-H tag, and the other is a yellow breeder's tag. Reporting from Newton, Cale Chapman, 12 News.
Well, the Matwire family has yet to find Big Man. And if you noticed, reporting was our former KOAM weekend anchor, Cale Chapman. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Pitt State University brings the fun and excitement of the outdoors to some area kiddos. Nature Camp is a yearly 5-day camp running through today for children 1st through 3rd grade. During Nature Camp, the campers get to learn about different aspects of nature with a new theme each day. On Thursday, they focused on mammals and dug up bones, just like archaeologists would.
The kids have been able to learn about tracking, looking for animal tracks and signs. They get to see a live opossum, one of our animal ambassadors, our newest ambassador, and they're making their own tracks out of clay and anything related that gets them outside and gets them excited about animals is the goal here.
But kindergarten at Nature Camp takes place on June 26th. Well, Pitt State didn't forget the older kids this summer. Pittsburgh's week-long Festival of the Arts continued on Thursday with a 1-day summer youth band camp. It's for all area high school musicians and directed by the Pitt State music faculty and organized by PSU band director Andrew Chybowski. The band camp included rehearsals, master classes, and a lot of fun, while also giving them a challenge.
You hear about improvisation in jazz, but it's actually possible, and I think it's really beneficial to do that in a large ensemble setting as well. So we're going to do some improvisation today, and actually at the concert tonight, they're going to do some improvisation then as well. So it's going to be kind of a unique experience for them.
Pittsburgh's Festival of the Arts continues through Sunday. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a cyber attack on America.
America under cyber attack. I'm Jared Hill with what we know about a ransomware attack targeting multiple government and private agencies.
Plus, less than half of men get the health screenings they need. We take a look at the effort to change that during Men's Health Month. And Chris returns with another look at your forecast and just how much severe weather the 4 states is. News, more real news in the morning. But first, here's a live look from John's Sports Center in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch this morning, more than 300 storms were reported in the southern U.S. on Wednesday, leaving significant damage and more than 100,000 households and businesses without power within the past few days. One area hit especially hard on Thursday, Perryton, Texas, which is receiving aid from cities and counties around the Panhandle town. And the National Weather Service in Amarillo confirms at least one twister hit that town. According to the CFO of Ochiltree General Hospital, dozens of people have been treated for injuries. 2 Tennessee state lawmakers expelled from the state legislature earlier this year for protesting gun violence on the House floor won their special primary elections on Thursday. State Rep. Justin Jones ran unopposed for the Democratic nomination in his Nashville area district, while State Rep. Justin Pearson sailed to victory in his Memphis area district. Pearson reportedly garnered more than 94% of the votes. Tennessee House of Representatives voted to expel Jones and Pearson from the chamber in early April. The pair and a third Democratic lawmaker had led chants from the House floor following the shooting at a Nashville elementary school that left 3 9-year-old students and 3 adults dead. Well, there's history made on the federal bench. U.S. Senate voted Thursday to confirm Nusrat Choudhury as the first Muslim woman to serve as a federal judge. She's also the first Bangladeshi American to join the federal judiciary. President Biden nominated the civil rights attorney in January of last year. Choudhury currently serves as legal director for the Illinois chapter of the ACLU. Choudhury will join the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. A worldwide cyber attack hits several U.S. government agencies. A Russian criminal cyber group is blamed, and now senior officials are racing to limit the impact. Jared Hill has more on what we know about the attack and how the Biden administration is responding.
U.S. officials say a Russia-linked ransomware group called KOAM is responsible for a global cyber attack that has struck multiple U.S. agencies and NATO allies.
This ransomware group compromised a vulnerability in a widely used software.
That software is called MoveIt. Experts say it's a convenient way for governments and businesses to move large files. The cyber attack has affected the U.S. Department of Energy, multiple Johns Hopkins affiliated hospitals, the University System of Georgia, the Minnesota Department of Education, and British Airways. U.S. officials say the ransomware group has already started to release data to extort companies.
The adversaries have a chance to get 2 bites from the same apple, meaning first, they can put ransomware on your computer and say, you can never use your data again unless you pay us money. Then after you pay, they come back again and say, meanwhile, I have a copy of your data and I will release it unless you pay me again.
Former Defense Intelligence official Bob Gourley says cyber criminals can release embarrassing information from medical records or even personal banking data that can then open those affected up to further fraud. CBS News has confirmed that the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency is providing support to agencies targeted in this attack. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, U.S. cybersecurity officials says so far no federal agencies have received extortion demands and no federal data has been leaked. Also, many organizations had already pitched the vulnerability before the ransomware group was able to intrude. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a chance of some strong, possibly low-grade severe storms today, a better chance of severe storms tomorrow night. We'll have another full look at that forecast coming up. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:18 now. So we've got a lot of weather to talk about. Let's start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker as it stands right now. We're getting more of these showers out there. You can see some heavier rain starting to develop. All of this activity rolling almost due east, but it is doing so slowly. This thunderstorm cluster developed and it's not going anywhere. It's practically stationary. The good news is it's not strong or severe, but it is out there, and any showers that we see are in an environment favorable to support them possibly getting a little stronger out there. So we're going to keep a close eye on all the activity throughout the day for you. So let's talk about today's severe risk. The good news is tornado risk very low. No highlighted areas. That means the risk is very low. Our hail risk, maybe some small hail and potentially some strong wind gusts out there. And as you can see, it's pretty much the entire area that has this risk because we're looking at scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning, afternoon, and into the early evening hours. And then tomorrow, Saturday, we've been talking about it the last 3 days, and we're getting there. We've still got the elevated risk here for us for tomorrow for strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, the good news is it's been scaled back ever so slightly, but the majority of our area is still in that elevated risk. Now, the other part of the good news, at least for tomorrow's storms, is at this point, the tornado risk is relatively low. We're looking more at a damaging wind and large hail risk. Not that that's any better, but it beats having a higher end tornado risk, which at this point we do not. Sunday, there's that low risk, but that's going to be for any remnant activity from our Saturday storms, which will really be going on into early Sunday morning. So let's take a look at the future track and go down the road. Scattered showers, thunderstorms throughout our day today. And again, a couple of these could be strong, possibly low-grade severe. That's not to say every last one of them will be. And as you can see on the future track, that's not to say everybody's going to see thunderstorms today, but those that do could see a strong storm or two out there. We're otherwise going to be mostly cloudy through the majority of our day, warm in mid-80s. Tomorrow, we're going to be partly cloudy to mostly clear. It's going to allow us to get hot, it's going to allow us to get humid, and it's going to set the stage to give the perfect fueling ground here for tomorrow's thunderstorm chances. So here we are at 8 o'clock. We start to see a few scattered storms in our northern counties, and then we get this bigger batch rolling into the western counties. Here we are at 10. So this is a late night, overnight event. And these showers and storms surge off to the east. Here we are at 12:30 Sunday morning with these strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through the area. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this for you as we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Skies, they look ominous outside, but as we just saw in the Skywatch Storm Tracker, right now, just some stray showers out there. We're sitting at 67 in Joplin. Temperatures around the region a little bit warmer than where we were yesterday. 65 in Nevada, 64 Fort Scott, 66 Parsons, Chitopa, 67 Miami, and we're sitting at 68 in Neosho. So, recapping today, we're going to be near 80 by late morning, scattered showers, thunderstorms, couple of strong storms possible. Those will continue through our afternoon, and we'll start transition from mostly to partly cloudy skies, and we're looking at highs right around the mid-80s. Tonight, mild, mostly clear overnight, and we'll go into the mid-60s. Again, near 90 tomorrow, those evening thunderstorms into the first part of our Father's Day. The rest of Father's Day looking great, low 80s, and as we head toward the first official day of summer, temperatures warm, we're partly cloudy, low 90s as we kick off the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We are back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, new research published by the American Psychological Association finds babies and toddlers who receive high-quality child care do better in science and math through high school. Scientists say the link is stronger among children from low-income families and that their finding highlights the importance of raising kids in a supportive, stimulating environment in order to build a strong foundation for success later in life. Well, breastfeeding may help mothers avoid type 2 diabetes. In tests on mice, researchers at Yale University found breastfeeding can improve the number of insulin-producing cells in the pancreas and increase insulin sensitivity in mothers, which can protect them against type 2 diabetes later in life. And a new study finds a medication called bempedoic acid may reduce the risk of health issues just as well as statins. Statins are widely prescribed to lower cholesterol, but some patients taking them suffer from muscle and joint pain. Doctors say bempedoic acid could be an alternative for some people. Well, June is Men's Health Month, a reminder that men are less likely than women to get the preventative care they need and ultimately have a lower life expectancy. But a new approach to primary care is trying to change that. Bradley Blackburn has more on what men can do to improve their health.
Stephen Bachgalupo is a model patient. Every year he comes to NYU Langone's Tisch Center for Men's Health for a checkup with Dr. Stephen Lamb.
Would you say your health is pretty good? I think so.
The 43-year-old is serious about his health because he wants to be there for his wife and son. His own mother had diabetes and passed away when he was just 26.
That's always in the back of my mind. So certainly I want to do what I can to minimize any repeat in that history.
A long, healthy life starts with prevention. And that's why Dr. Lamb helped create this center that puts primary care, labs, and specialists all under one roof that's tailor-made for men.
A lot of men don't appreciate that you're planting the seeds for your future wellness in your 20s and 30s. And so if you take really good care of your 20s and 30s, you have a chance of not living to 50, but living to 90 or 100.
Heart disease and cancer are leading causes of death for all men and are often preventable. But surveys show more than half of men don't get regular health screenings, and numbers are even worse for men of color.
As you get older,
Dr. Lamb says a regular checkup can keep you on track, even if it's not necessarily once a year.
At some point in your 20s, you should have a visit. All right. I do think you can set the standards for that individual, whether they need to be seen in a year or 2 years. As long as my health is good, we'll keep it at once a year.
An ounce of prevention only works if you take it.
Just get that checkup.
And the hope is that more men will put their health first. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, men also have lower health literacy levels than women, meaning they may not understand information about their health or how to get care. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching.
Yeah, and we've got ourselves the possibility of some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms today, and we do have a risk for a few strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow night, and then we could see some lingering severe storms Sunday morning. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 6:30, nearly 1 in 3 children are infected with CMV by age 5. We're going to tell you what it is and one mother's message to others.
Even though we've got some dark skies out there from the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, still just looking at showers right now, but the possibility of thunderstorms still exists. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
And the city of Joplin invites the public out to June's third Thursday with one simple message: you belong here.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Here we are on a finally Friday, dodging the bullet on some potentially significant severe weather last night. Really swept through Oklahoma and is actually ongoing down into the deep south this morning with more severe thunderstorm warnings and watches down there. And we've been mentioning it, and I'm sure we'll have more on it probably at noon. Lawton, Oklahoma specifically, I know was hit pretty hard as well last night. So let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we've got some scattered showers out there, a little bit of thunderstorm activity in our northwestern counties, and that batch, while it's just kind of recycling on itself, isn't really going anywhere, but the rest of this activity is trying to move off to the east. Because see, look, it looks like it's moving, but in reality, it's just kind of recycling on itself. But we are getting the additional development, and that is trying to push off to the east. Let me back up. First, tornado risk today, very low. No highlighted areas, so that indicates it's very low. But we do have that lower end risk for the possibility of some small hail and gusty winds as we head through the morning, afternoon, and early evening hours with some scattered storms later today. And our severe threat tomorrow. We've been talking about Saturday all day. We will continue to do so. We've been doing it for 3 days. We still have this elevated risk for a significant portion of the area for strong to severe thunderstorms late Saturday night. The tornado risk tomorrow at this point is still quite low. We're looking more at a damaging wind and large hail event. While we don't need any of that, at least we're not looking at this point at an elevated tornado risk just for the wind and hail. Let's look at what we've got going on down the road. 10 o'clock, noon, we get these scattered showers and thunderstorms. So here's the thing. We're all in that risk for strong storms, but as you can see, storms through the day are going to be isolated to widely scattered. So not everybody is going to see a storm, and not every storm we see will necessarily be strong or severe today, but it'll have that possibility as we go through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Then we go overnight and we're fine. We're mostly clear tonight. We're mild. We're looking all right. Saturday, we get hot. We get muggy. We are mostly clear for the majority of our Saturday, which helps set the stage and the environment for storms in the evening. Here we are about 7:30, 8 o'clock, a few scattered storms in our northern counties, and then we see this big batch by 10 o'clock entering our western counties, and this will surge to the east. Here we are at 12:30. This is 2.5 hours, and it surges off to the east. That's why damaging wind is really the biggest concern with this storm complex as it rolls on off to the east. And it could be ongoing as we head into early Sunday morning, and then it'll eventually start to exit the area and leave us actually with a pretty pleasant Father's Day. We'll have more on your complete forecast, more details on the weekend and the hot week ahead here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Tuesday's City Hall meeting in Carthage, Missouri proved a disappointment for some public works workers. Carthage Water and Electric Plant submitted its budget to include a pay raise for the workers, but the City Council recommended holding off on that budget. The City Council noticed they received Carthage Water and Electric Plant's 2023 budget instead of 2024's budget. City officials say this was a simple miscommunication.
The Budget Committee received a version of that information, although it was 2023 information. So not exactly what they needed, but and they made a decision based on the information they had.
The second reading of the budget and final vote is scheduled for June 27th. This is National Cytomegalovirus, or CMV, Awareness Month. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 3 children are infected with CMV by age 5. The virus can cause hearing loss, vision loss, and lack of motor skills. This happens to be the case for a child in Miami, Oklahoma, and her mother is putting on an event this weekend for her daughter who was born with CMV.
She's a very happy kid. I feel like it doesn't change anything as a regular child besides the side effects of CMV that has affected her.
The event is open to the public. It is Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club at 504 Goodrich Boulevard. In Iola, Kansas, the Allen County Multi-Agency Team put on its 10th annual Family Safety Night. Family Safety Night is an event to help support youth, families, teachers in the community by providing more than 25 booths to teach them public safety, how to call 911, and other tips on what to do in an emergency.
Our 10th annual Family Safety Night, ACMAT partners with the Allen County Farmers Market every year. We want to promote a safe environment for all our community members to come out and have a good time.
They also partnered with the Allen County Sheriff's Department to promote safe bicycle procedures. Father's Day is just around the corner, and if you're still looking for some gift ideas for your dear old dad, KOAM's very own Shannon Becker has some suggestions. He's joining us live from John Sports Center in Pittsburgh. Good morning, Shannon. Having a few technical difficulties this morning. We'll be getting him in shortly, but experts say customers are expected to spend almost $200 per person on average this year. We've got some helpful tips that will get you that special gift for your dad without breaking the bank. Number 1, give a gift with intention. Don't just grab a gift off the shelf. Grab something that will be personal. Even better, make something. Number 2, don't take dad to a restaurant. Instead, host a grilling session. Get dad's favorite cut of meat and the veggies he loves and host your own weekend celebration. Maybe ask him if he wants to be the chef. And 3, plan a memorable experience. Take dad on a hike, fishing trip, or any other activity that he enjoys. However you decide to celebrate the occasion, just make sure you celebrate the occasion. Don't forget. how much you love him.
Anything.
Joplin was full of vendors and artists last night, and this month's sponsor was You Belong Here, a local equity, diversity, and inclusion organization. As always, it featured booths from dozens of area businesses and organizations, as well as fun activities.
We work with the Chamber of Commerce, and we are really just trying to get everybody to realize that everybody belongs in Joplin. And so we work with, equality, diversity, and inclusion, and just really, as if you're breathing, you belong here.
Third Thursdays take place every month through October. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Back to help us kick off the holiday weekend, KOAM's own Shannon Becker, and he's got the big three stories of the week.
And we're watching the possibility for some strong, maybe low-grade severe storms today and a better chance for severe storms tomorrow. We'll have another look at that forecast when we come back. But first, we were going to show you something, but you know what? We'd rather show you this beautiful sunrise this morning. We'll be right back.
We're at 1806 North Broadway, and it's John Sporting Goods. We'll talk more about Father's Day coming up, but right now the big three stories of the week live and breaking news. Number 3, it was yesterday in Joplin. East Newman Road, Joplin Police Department, about 8:40 were called to reports of a stabbing. A man suffering critical injuries. He's now stable in ICU. But Captain Will Davis, the Joplin Police Department, tells us they do have a female in custody at first on unrelated warrants, but we expect to hear more back this morning after some court filings. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, live and breaking. A tractor trailer loaded with 40,000 pounds of steak fries overturned on Baseline Boulevard earlier this week. The driver was not injured. He was traveling east and approaching I-49, dropped some wheels off the right side of the road, and then fell into the ditch. It was about a 6-hour cleanup there for S&S Towing. They did a great job. And then our number 1 story, a crane damages the underneath portion of I-44 bridges at exit 18. This was a huge traffic delay on Tuesday. What occurred was this crane, it was too high to go underneath the bridges, and it hit 10 different girders underneath, damaging them. They worked on it for about 14 hours, and they did open up some more lanes. They still have some of those ramps closed on that Cloverleaf at Fidelity, so beware of that as you're going through there. They don't have that huge backup they had the other day. They had 3 and 4 and 5 miles of traffic backed up. It's not that bad, but you'll have to think hard before you go through that intersection, all right? It's the big three. I'm Shannon Becker, KOAM News Now. Father's Day. We'll talk more about it coming up today right here at John Sporting Goods. Up next, though, we've got birthdays and anniversaries on the KOAM Morning News.
All right, time for some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to start in Pittsburgh with Allie Jackson celebrating the big number 1. Happy birthday, Allie.
What a cutie patootie there. In Oswego, Kansas, Xanthfire Baldwin celebrating birthday number 11 this year.
And over in Parsons, we've got Allie Cedars celebrating number 35. Says, happy birthday, I love you, love, Mom.
All right, and Joyce Huff celebrating another year wiser in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday from Chris and Sophie.
And Roe Parsons III in McCune, Kansas, celebrating another year wiser as well. Happy birthday, Roe.
Dale Flanagan turning 83 years old this year. Dale is celebrating in Jasper, Missouri.
And Delbert Rexwinkle over in Iola celebrating 93 today. Happy birthday, Delbert.
Florence Kammerer turning 98 years old this year. Florence is in Neodesha.
And Jim and Mary Bob Godinez are celebrating their first anniversary in Chanute. Happy anniversary.
And celebrating 45 years together, it's the Crumpackers. Dave and Mary Crumpacker, congratulations.
And we've got Jerry and Becky 4G celebrating their 50th year of wedded bliss. Happy anniversary to the 4Gs.
All right, Glenda Morgan, birthday wishes going out to you in Pittsburgh.
And Lori Freeman celebrating number 61 in Columbus. Happy birthday, Lori.
And Tammy Strangeland, happy birthday to you in Nevada, Missouri.
All right, we love celebrating birthdays and anniversaries with you so much that we have a special email address for you to send them to. Tanya, what is that?
We'll send both those anniversaries and birthdays to this email. And don't forget the S on it, birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And you know another great thing we have that is on our website that is easy to do? It's the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses, and I think more importantly, you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So go over to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for that KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, we got some time here. We got a lot of weather to talk about, and that is exactly what we are going to do after we ensure that you sign up for that KOAM Birthday Club. So you sign up for it, and you do so right now, because later today and through the afternoon, it's going to be a little stormy. We're going to show you the Skywatch Storm Tracker here in just a moment. Don't worry. We are coming to that. And on that Skywatch Storm Tracker, because I can see it, and I can tell you, there it is. Look, television magic. We've got scattered showers and some thunderstorms out there. This activity, if we put it in the loop, it looks as though it's moving, but it's really not. It's just kind of rebuilding on itself. It just regenerates out there. The activity that is moving, though, is these scattered showers that we're starting to see across the area. And we'll keep an eye on them. They're just showers right now, and they may remain that way as we go through the first part of the morning, but we do have the potential for some of these showers and thunderstorms to be strong, possibly low-grade severe as we head into the afternoon. Let's take a look at that. Our tornado risk, no area is highlighted, so that means the risk is very low. With severe thunderstorms, it's never zero, but today, very low, and that's great news. However, we could see some small hail and some gusty winds, and you can see the majority of the area is highlighted, but there's a little caveat to that we'll get to in just a moment. Saturday, though, we've been talking about Saturday for, 3 or 4 days now. We still have this elevated risk of strong to severe thunderstorms. It was scaled back just a wee bit, but you can see the majority of our area is still in it. Now, some good news with this threat tomorrow is at this time, the tornado threat is relatively low. It's not zero, but it's relatively low. The biggest threats are going to be large hail and damaging winds. And in all honesty, based on some of the latest trends, the damaging wind threat looks to be the biggest concern with the strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into our Saturday. Sunday, we have this low-end risk across some of our southern counties, right along and south of I-44. That's really for any lingering activity that may redevelop back behind this main batch early Sunday morning. But then the rest of our Sunday actually looks pretty good. So let's take a look down the road with the future track, shall we? We go through the morning. We're going to see these scattered showers and thunderstorms. And again, they could be strong, low-grade severe. But if you look at this. They're fairly isolated to widely scattered at best, even by this afternoon. These are almost more pop-up storms. However, there's that possibility they could be strong, low-grade severe. So is everybody going to see a thunderstorm today? Probably not. But the storms we do see could be a little bit on the stronger side. And because they're almost pop-up like in nature, once we start to lose the heating of the day, we lose these storms. And our evening, mild and mostly clear. Then we head into our Saturday. And the majority of our Saturday, and this is what's helping set the stage for tomorrow, is going to be sunny, maybe a few clouds. It's going to be hot, and it's going to be quite muggy out there. Here we are Saturday, 11:30, just a few clouds. We're heading through the afternoon, now into the evening. Maybe a couple of stray thunderstorms ahead of the main activity, but as you can see, highs near 90. And we've got few clouds out there, and that's going to set the stage for the bigger complex tomorrow night. Here we are at 8 o'clock. We start to see a few scattered storms developing. These could be strong, possibly severe. And then as we go 10 o'clock, look at this batch. Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, right around 10 o'clock. this big batch beginning to roll through. And this is where our primary concern with strong to severe thunderstorms comes. And look at how quickly it races off to the east. In 2.5 hours, it's going to make it from Elk and Chautauqua counties all the way into Jasper, Barton, McDonald, Newton counties, and into parts of Berry, Lawrence counties out to the east. It's going to move quickly. And that's why damaging wind is the primary concern with this batch of storms, is it could be surging rather quickly, and we know how that operates. We could see those strong wind gusts with that. Skies, 7th and range line, they're dark, they look ominous, but really not much out there right now. Mostly cloudy in Joplin, 67. Dew point humidity, both high, so a bit muggy. 63 Fort Scott, 70 in Pittsburgh, 66 Parsons, 68 Chetopa, Miami, and 67 Lamar, Carthage, and Neosho. So again, we got those scattered storms through the day and through the morning as well. Near 80 by late morning, highs today, mid-80s. And the thunderstorm chances, lows tonight under mostly clear skies. We're going to go into the mid-60s. And as we look ahead, 90 tomorrow, Father's Day. Once the storms clear out, we're looking to be partly cloudy, low 80s. And as we head toward the first official day of summer, we're looking at low 90s, hot conditions, and partly cloudy skies. Well, we've got the news you need to know before you head out the door just after the break. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and head off to New York City and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, David Begnaud revisits the inspiring father and son triathletes who are still defying the odds and shares an incredible special surprise. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Cyclists hit the road as part of an 8-day journey across the Sunflower State. Biking across Kansas brings out hundreds of people to explore beautiful landscapes, points of interest, and meet people in different towns. On Thursday, they arrived in Chanute with only 2 days left in their journey. Allen County multi-agency team put on its 10th annual Family Safety Night in Iola, Kansas. Family Safety Night is an event to help support youth, families, teachers in the community by providing more than 25 booths to teach them public safety, how to call 911, and other tips on what to do in an emergency. Well, today marks the last day of Camp Quality in Neosho. The week-long event receives kids with cancer for fun activities during the summer. A pool, crafts, and even laser tag were included in the program this year. No cost to the kids and their families. The overnight camp even has 24-hour medical care. And a big honor for a legendary area high school coach. The football field in Webb City, where Coach John Roderick led generations of athletes, will soon bear his name. The school board voted unanimously to rename the Cardinals field in honor of the Hall of Fame coach. Roderick retired after a 26-year career that included 13 state championships. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we're looking at isolated to scattered thunderstorms through the morning, afternoon, and into the early evening hours. Highs mid-80s. Some of these storms could be strong, low-grade severe, with hail and wind being the primary concerns. Once they clear out, we are mostly clear overnight, dropping back into the mid-60s. And then as we head into tomorrow evening, that's where we're watching after about 8 o'clock, possibility of some widespread strong to severe thunderstorms overnight Saturday into early Sunday morning. 90 Saturday, 83 Father's Day, and a great Father's Day once the storms clear out.
Coming up today at noon, we're making dinosaur ribs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The Biden administration is trying to crack down on junk fees and hidden pricing for things like concerts and hotels. Next on CBS Mornings, what major ticket and travel companies are doing to be more transparent so customers can comparison shop.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, KOAM's has Shannon Becker. A little double duty for us. Not only will he be recapping his big 3 stories of the week, but he's also talking Father's Day gifts with Adam from John's Sports Center.
And KOAM's Fernanda Silva takes us back out to Camp Quality in Neosho to meet some very special kids. But that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will be back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.